Sales Operations Support welcomes you to our regional training on sales compliance today. What do we do in Sales Operations Support? We service to our internal customers, that is, service recovery on customer complaints received directly from branches and CRU, training and sharing on sales compliance matters to all new joiners, provide independent view on matters involving breach of integrity or unethical selling, keeping branches abreast or update, that is circulars and reminders, instilling service and compliance culture at branches through coaching and training, and provide guidance or advice on sales operations matters. For a beginning, let's revisit on product disclosure sheet, which is PDS. What are the stages to hand over PDS to customers? Stage 1, that is pre-contract stage. Stage 2, that is entering contract stage. And stage 3, that is during term of contract stage. Why do we give PDS to customers? It is a mandatory document as per BNM's guidelines. It enables more informed decision for the customers. It facilitates comparisons, and it is better access on product info for customers. Be cautioned, there are steps taken to ensure compliance on PDS, which is mystery shopping by BNM, telephone calls made by our branch network, mystery shopping by our internal audit, and branch visits by Sales Operations Support. Having said on PDS, now let's revisit on BNM guidelines on responsible financing. Under the policy requirements, that is suitability and affordability assessment, 8.1 indicates the bank shall conduct suitability and affordability assessment for each new and additional financing it offers. A financial product is affordable if the amount and terms allow the customer to reasonably meet repayment obligation in full throughout the course of financing without recourse of debt relief or substantial hardship. To continue on policy requirements under suitability and affordability assessment, under income section, the bank shall verify a customer's income against reliable sources which are independent of the customer and must not rely solely on customer's self-certification income. If the bank finds material discrepancies in the information provided by the customer, the bank must then perform further verification or may reject the application. Under the requirement of debt service ratio, that is the DSR, the bank shall take reasonable steps to establish that customers are offered financing products that are appropriate to their financial circumstances and ability to pay by observing a prudent DSR. The DSR computation complement and does not replace other factors considered by the bank in lending decisions such as customers' repayment history and credit scores. This is the formula for calculation of DSR, which is all outstanding debt repayment obligations from banks and non-banks, and with the new financing installment over income tax after statutory deduction, which are tax, EPF, SOCSO, and Zakat. Stop. Statutory deduction must make sure that this is not omitted in our RCS system. Now let's look at Credit Policy Guide CPG Appendix 13 Section 4.1 Recognition of Variable Income. In order to recognize variable income, the credit underwriters or approvers must be able to verify such variable income based on at least 3 months information. And the income variance is calculated based on the following source. Income variance is computed as follows: highest income observed minus the lowest income observed over the average income times by 100. The acceptable percentage is computed from the average income. Now let's look at the example of calculation of variable income. Assume the fixed income for month 1 is 1,000, month 2 is 1,000, and month 3 is 1,000. the variable income will be month 1 700, month 2 800, month 3 900, which is total 2400. Average for 3 months is 800. The second one, the highest income observed in this scenario is 900 minus over the lowest income observed, which is 700, over the average income of 800 times by 100. Your variance is 25%. Number 3. Based on the factor below, what is the variable income then? We are at 50% with 3 months evidence, which is 90%. So 90% over 800 of the average income, it is 720 ringgit. That is the variable income. Then what do we key in RCS? It is main income 1000 and other income 720. The above is only applicable for variable income, which includes commission, incentives, allowances, overtimes, service points, and etc. For bonus computation, please refer to our Retail Consumer Credit Financing Underwriting Guidelines. Now let's visit our BNM Personal Data Protection Act 2010, which is PDPA. The first principle, general principles, which indicates the bank shall not process personal data of a customer unless customer gives the consent to the bank. Second, notice and choice principles, which explains the bank shall give written notice to customer on the use of customer's personal data by the bank or on behalf of the bank. Notice must include purpose and whether customer is obliged to provide the personal data. Number 3, disclosure principles. The bank shall not disclose customers' personal data for purpose other than stated at the point of collection to other third parties other than permitted by the customer without the customer's consent. Number 4, security principles. The bank shall take the necessary steps to protect customers' data from loss, misuse, modification, unauthorized or accidental access or disclosure, alteration or destruction of personal data. Number 5, retention principles. The bank shall not keep customers' personal data longer than necessary and to destroy all personal data no longer required. Number 6, data integrity principle. It indicates bank shall ensure that the customer's personal data is accurate, complete, not misleading, and kept up to date. Last but not least, it is access principles, which explains the bank shall allow the customer to access and correct their personal data. Caution, what is the breach of PDPA? Fine imposed on bank range from 100,000 to 500,000 for every offence under PDPA, and imprisonment from 1 year to 3 years. Now let's look into the do's and the don'ts. What are the do's? Approve with citing the supporting documents. Advise customer on the right type of product to purchase or invest. Keep all customers' documents under lock and key away from third parties. Use the relevant bank's rubber stamp instead of generic ones. Example, Islamic rubber stamp for CIMB Islamic. Check the correctness of the info before approving the customer's request. Furnish PDS to the customers. Now let's look into the don'ts. Don't leave the documents on the table which are easily accessible by unauthorized personnel. Don't divulge or reveal customers' info to third parties under the Act of FSA or IFSA 133145. Don't simply handle any cash transaction. Don't use own promotional advertisement materials for product campaigns. And don't use bank's info for personal gain or mis-sell for personal interest.